So the topic for today is the counter current mechanism. You can even call that this is a mechanism for concentrating the filtrate. So we have already learned that there are two main structures in the kidney, associated with the kidney, which are the loop of Henle and vasa recta. We have learned already that the juxtamedullary nephrons are the one which carries a long loop of Henle as well as a U-shaped bend of the vessel which is called as the vasa recta. Now the loop of the Henle and vasa recta, they form the counter current system, because when you pay attention to this diagram, considering this as the loop of Henle, we can make out the urine or the filtrate goes down and goes up. So we can see that the two limbs are supposed to carry movement of the fluid in the opposite direction. And in the same manner, vasa recta has the movement again going in the opposite direction. So there are two counter currents which are formed by the loop of Henle and vasa recta, and these structures are associated with the juxtamedullary nephrons, and they are responsible for making the urine hypertonic, or you can say concentrating the filtrate. Now this all starts because the descending limb of the loop of Henle, water passes out and then it goes into the interstitial fluid, from where it is picked up by the ascending limb of the vasa recta. So you can see here the descending limb of the loop of Henle passes out the water into the interstitium, because of which the urine or the filtrate becomes hypertonic in nature, and this water does not remain here for long. It is absorbed or picked up by the ascending limb of the vasa recta. The next thing is the ascending limb of the loop of Henle loses the sodium chlorides to the medulla, and which enters into the descending limb of vasa recta. So the ascending limb of the loop of Henle, it loses the sodium chloride, and then this goes into the medulla, from where it is picked up by the descending limb of the loop of Henle. This causes the blood to become hypertonic in the middle portion or the inner portion of the medulla. This concept is called as the counter current mechanism. So you can see here the molecules are the fluid is supposed to move down and up again, and it goes down in the blood vessels and then goes up again. So here is the movement of filtrate and here is the movement of the blood. Now let's understand this concept even from the NCERT. So NCERT says mammals have the ability to produce concentrate urine. Henle's loop and vasa recta play an important role in this concept. The flow of the filtrate in the two limbs of the Henle's loop is in the opposite direction, and thus it forms a countercurrent. In the same manner, the flow of the blood through the two limbs of vasa recta is also in the countercurrent pattern. The proximity between the Henle's loop and vasa recta, as well as the two countercurrents developing in them, they help in maintaining and increasing osmolarity towards the inner medullary interstitium. So this causes the osmolarity to increase in the deeper portion of the medulla. You can read the digits which are given here. In the cortex, it is 300 milliosmolarity per liter. Then it is 600 milliosmolarity per liter, and you can see that in the inner medulla it increases to 900, followed by it may even go up to 1200 milliosmolarity per liter. So this is the concentration, osmotic concentrations of the content present inside. So the proximity between the Henle's loop and vasa recta, so these two structures are close by, as well as the countercurrents developing in them. These countercurrents help them in maintaining increasing osmolarity towards the inner portion. So it is 300 milliosmolarity in the cortex, and it can go as high as up to 1200 milliosmolarity per liter in the inner portion of medulla. This gradient is mainly caused by sodium and urea. So you can check here, sodium moves out. We have already covered in the notes also. The sodium moves out of the ascending limb of the loop of Henle, and it goes into the descending limb of the vasa recta. So you can see the same movement going on here. Sodium moves out and it enters into the limb of the vasa recta. So this, and second point is the urea. In the lowermost portion of the collecting duct, urea is again reabsorbed in the innermost portion of the medulla. So these two molecules, when they are reabsorbed, they start the osmolarity to be controlled, or because of which the urine becomes hypertonic. So the gradient develops because of the NaCl and urea. NaCl is transported by the ascending limb of the loop of Finlay, which is exchanged with the descending limb of the vasa recta. So it goes into this portion. It comes out from here and enters into this portion. NaCl is returned to the interstitium. Now afterwards, NaCl again comes out from the ascending limb. So NaCl is returned to the interstitium by the ascending portion of vasa recta, and similarly small amount of urea also enter into the thin segment. This is the thin segment. Urea enters here. You can check this point even in this diagram. Urea come out from collecting duct and enters into the thin segment of the ascending limb of the loop of Finlay. So because of this also there is hypertonicity in the interstitium in the lower portion of medulla. So because of all these things, the above described transport as facilitated by the special arrangement of Hinley's loop and vasa recta is called as countercurrent mechanism, and this mechanism helps to maintain a concentration gradient. Now you can make out here, when sodium moves out of the ascending limb of the vasa recta and it enters into the interstitium, it causes even the water to go out from the descending limb of the loop of Finlay. That's why it becomes hypertonic once again. Now you can read from the NCERT further that the presence of such interstitial gradient help in easy passage of water from the collecting tubule, thereby concentrating the filtrate or the urine. Human kidney can easily produce urine which is nearly 4 times the concentration of the initial filtrate